So in terms of Wallboard, we'll just be talking about the new functionality primarily added to 2.0, but feel free to ask any kind of general questions as well. So in terms of the running order for today, just give you a quick rundown on some of the house rules and a little bit about ourselves. This is a refresher as much as anything else for anybody who might be new to UnifiedFX. And the main highlights for what's new within this new release of Wallboard is we're going to talk about some new statistics, queue-based statistics for abandon rate, some new agent statistics that we have as well. Also, quite a heavily requested feature is support for reason codes, so we'll take you through that configuration. Something again based on customer feedback is the ability to select particular agents that you want to make visible within the agent view. Normally we just pull in effectively all the agents within the selected CSQs, but there's been occasions where that's not really been what's required, maybe subsets of those agents, so that's now possible. Also, a nice enhancement we've put in recently is the ability to embed the Wallboard display within a Finesse gadget as well. And as part of that Finesse gadget, and also just generally, we have some restrictions you can apply on the display, just like a kind of crude policy capability. And then finally, another commonly asked item is the ability to customize the background image. And then hopefully we'll have a bit of a demo and a Q&A. I have been a bit short on time today, so the demo might not be very good, but we'll see how we get on. So in terms of house rules, please make sure you submit them to the Q&A panel, otherwise they might get missed. And if you don't mind, submit them to all panelists, just so that we can make sure somebody here can answer them for you. And what we'll do is we might answer questions through the session, but we've got a little bit of slot at the end just to make sure we can close off any questions at the end. So in terms of UnifiedFX, there's three main products that we have. So if you're not aware of it, we have one of our original products, which is called PhoneView. And this is endpoint management software that allows you to see, control, update, manipulate, gather data for your entire phone estate. And it's designed and used for some very large phone systems, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 phones support, etc. In fact, it's used so widely that we now have, well, not really been counting it recently. The last time we counted it about a year ago, there's at least 3 million phones which are actively managed by that product. So it's very popular. So if you haven't seen it before, please do go to our website and check it out. Point of note is it is Cisco compatible. In fact, it's the only Cisco compatible product of its type. Obviously, we're going to talk about Wallboard today, but the key highlights, as always, for Wallboard is it's very simple to install and upgrade. Maybe show you a little bit of that in the demo portion. And it's 100% browser-based, because there's plenty of Wallboards out there. Some of them, yeah, they may be only browser-based, but maybe not too dynamic. Others, maybe they're a bit richer in terms of interface, but they depend on plugins like Flash and Silverlight, etc. Whereas we've eliminated all that, so it's both fast, dynamic, and has no dependency on plugins, which means you can install it on anything if you've not used it already. And because of how we've architected it, it's got the fastest real-time data updates as well. So really just kind of growing on that foundation with these new enhancements in version 2. And then finally, the other product that we have, which you may not have heard of, is called MigrationFX. Again, we've ticked all the boxes with this. It's Cisco compatible, and there's another program that's approved on, which is called the Solution Incentive Program, the SIP program. PhoneView's on that too, and that gives you extra discount from a partner perspective when it's bundled along with a Cisco solution. So that gets you, I think it's an extra 4 points of discount, which you can either use or pass on to your customer. And effectively, it's designed to make phone upgrades, replacements, and deployments, including provisioning, really, really quick and simple, to the point that if you're replacing a phone, all you ought to do is unplug the old phone and plug in the new phone. Everything else is automated in the background. You can't get much easier than that. And then another kind of enhancement that we added not too long ago was the ability to also handle converting the DX endpoints between Android and CE. So we're very heavily tied in with Cisco and the MigrationFX product to the point that it's on the GPL, and it's also embedded as part of Cisco's technology migration program. So if you trade in 100 old phones or more for new handsets, and you can add in the MigrationFX promo code that will get you the MigrationFX software site license for a year to use on your project to replace those phones. So anyway, that's a quick rundown of what we have available today. So the first thing from WallboardFX 2.0 point of view is a new queue statistic that we've added. Now we might add some more in the future, so we're kind of looking for feedback as well, any other things that we don't have statistics-wise that we can add in, but we've kind of done some work in the background that allows us to add some more of these, so I've just made a start to some of the kind of extra data that you might want. So this particular one is called abandon rate. So this is a percentage number, as you can see with the formula there. It's derived from the abandoned calls divided by total calls and formulated into a percentage. So that's from an interface perspective. When you're editing a display, one of the things you have is a list of parameters to choose from. So this is an extra parameter that's in the list, and when you choose it, you get that calls abandon rate, and you can rename it as well, and then that will be visible within your table of queues that are listed. So nice and simple, easy to add in, and there's more of that coming in the future. New agent statistics. So of a similar vein, we have been working on calculating extra data beyond the stuff that we have out of the box, and we've got actually 4 extra things that we've made available from an agent statistics perspective. So they are time and state, which is actually something we released a little while ago, but I thought it was just worth including in case anybody wasn't aware we'd added it. The reason codes, that's been asked for quite a lot, so we managed to come up with a good way of doing that, so I'm sure you'll like it. The offered calls and no answer rate. So these are just nice and simple to add. You basically go to the kind of agent layout panel, and with the kind of drop down sections, you can then choose whereabouts in that agent card you want to choose those extra statistics. But hopefully I'll show you that in the demo. Agent reason codes. So that is one of those fields that you can add to an agent. And the way it works is we've added a new file, which is called reasoncodes.xml file. And effectively, this has some default text in it for some system level reason codes. There's some example ones in there too that you might already have configured if the reason code numbers tie up. But it's just nice, simple XML file to edit. There's some instructions on that web link. We can make the slides available at the end, etc., if anybody requests them, and all these extra pages of details. But we have a support article on it, and it covers how to configure it. But ultimately, you go to your UCCX admin interface. You go into the kind of section where you manage your reason codes. If you've got them already, great. If you don't, you can add them in, and you just need to kind of correspond the number that you enter in within the UCCX admin interface and the number that you put in the XML file in our software, and then we'll map that number to the relevant text that you want to display. So it's kind of free form. You can have any description that you wish. As long as the numeric reason code matches, it will render it. So in terms of the agent view, one of the other enhancements we've done, other than just the extra statistics, is the ability to choose specific agents. Now, the reason why we did that is in the beginning, we had a kind of approach where you would just choose a CSQ or one or more CSQs. We would go and get all the agents at that point in time from those CSQs, and then just make them all available and visible, which was okay, nice and simple, which was the kind of point of doing it. But we then got some feedback saying, well, that's good, but maybe we don't want to show supervisors. We just want to show team members up there, and we basically didn't have a way of doing that because if the supervisor is a member of the relevant CSQ, they would also be visible. So that's really where that original requirement came from. And we thought, actually, this is quite good because it means it's very specific. But one of the things about the way our software works is when you save a display layout, when you're designing it, so to speak, at the point of save, it then captures all that agent data, and it's kind of stored against that display. So if new agents get added to your system over time, they don't deliberately, they don't get populated automatically into display. But sometimes that's not very obvious if you're only tagging them by CSQ, but by instead listing out all the individual agents that are available, then you can just go back, quickly edit, see if there's any new agents there that you want to move in, or maybe something you want to take out, make that change, and then save it. So it's very simple. As you can see from the graphic there, there is a kind of panel in the middle, and you have a list of available agents on the left and a list of chosen agents, selected agents on the right. So just obviously choose the relevant ones, hit the arrow to move them over, and anything in the selected list will be visible within that display section. So obviously that's you know, a nice, easy to administer feature. So one of the other enhancements that we put together is the ability to embed the wallboard display within a finesse gadget. So it was one of these things that we hadn't really thought about originally for some crazy reason, but we realised that it was actually very beneficial just to show some of the real-time data that we have alongside the agents interface, which is obviously typically used more for maybe a supervisor situation than maybe a agent situation, but you know, technically work in either way. But the thing that's quite nice about it is if you think about the agent status component, the agent view window, where it shows you that kind of card and shows you all the different agent states and what they're up to. Then from a supervisor's point of view, that's great. They could have, maybe even if they wanted to, just that data, so they can see right on their desktop alongside their own supervision functions, all the activity of the contact center. No need to look up to a big display on the wall, etc. And obviously it can be customized to their own needs as well. So to deploy that, you know, for anybody that's familiar with these things, it's really just editing the desktop layout configuration and updating the XML section with the relevant gadget URL. The kind of screen grab of it's there. But if you go down to the bottom of the slide there, you can also see we have a support article on that as well, which covers the details of how to embed that. One thing is, officially we only really support UCCX 10.6 and above with that feature, even though technically Finesse is available from 10.5. Some of the gadget support was quite tricky to manage from a 10.5 point of view. And if you do have any customers who want to, you know, we can maybe try and get it working with 10.5, but there's been some restrictions there. So generally we can officially support it from 10.6 onwards, but happy to entertain people with older systems too. Now, a good thing that effectively complements the concept of embedding Wallboard within a widget is also the ability to restrict it, because it's handy to have the Wallboard data embedded within your Finesse interface from a supervisor point of view, so you can see obviously what your team members are up to. But obviously some of that key data is useful to push out to agents. But you know, in bigger environments and environments where you want to kind of restrict and focus people a little bit more, you would want to put restrictions on what they can do with that display. And effectively, by default, the way that Wallboard works is it just kind of allows from the display interface itself to do anything you pretty much want. So with a number of customers asking feedback to be able to restrict and disable certain components. And the way that works is there's different kind of URL parameters you can add when you give out the link or you access the Wallboard. And effectively, they can override the display to show. Now, for anybody that's familiar with the products, the way that our displays work is imagine you've got 2 or 3 large smart TVs, and each of those effectively has a browser. They're browsing to our Wallboard server, and they are showing maybe different layouts, you know, layout 1, layout 2, layout 3. But that display might reboot and power back up. And what we actually do is we link it back into a database which can remember each of those sessions, so we can remember which display to show, which is kind of handy. But sometimes that's a bit too sophisticated, and maybe people just want to actually give out a link or embed a link somewhere and just know that it'll always show a particular display. So that means you can, with this new URL arguments you can add to the kind of web link. You can override the display. So rather than using the database-driven display that we normally manage and you can administer on a URL basis, you can override that and then choose any display that you wish. And that works well, I suppose, those other parameters to embed within that Finesse Gadget URL, because the end agent can't actually edit that, but you're controlling specifically which layout certain agents should get. And as part of that restriction capability, you can hide components. So for example, there is a kind of top left corner, there's a button that you click that opens up a list of the available displays to navigate between with the different layouts and the CSQ data. That can be disabled, so that means that they're effectively tied onto that particular display you pushed out. The admin panel, now they can't really access the admin panel without the password anyway, but it's a nice distraction to remove. And same thing for full screen, you can get rid of that button too if you want to, so kind of save that distraction as well. And again, we've got an article on that you can follow up on how to configure it. And the next one we have is custom themes. Now, this is something that's been asked for a number of times, and we've still got other things we're working on as well that go quite a bit beyond what this can give you in terms of customizing the wallboard display. But this one's nice just from a kind of branding aesthetics perspective. And all it really is instead of using the 10 or so built-in background images that we have in terms of the theming options of the wallboard, you basically get 3 slots, custom 1, 2, and 3, that you can populate with your own images. So the details needs to be a JPEG file. That's the resolution, 1800 by 1200. There's a particular folder that you need to save it to, the content folder. If it's not there, just create it and then drop it in. And the file name needs to match the theme name, so custom1.jpg will appear if you go to a theme option on a display and obviously choose the corresponding custom one. So that's the kind of theme background side of it. Now, that's a quick rundown of the new features. I can see a couple of questions in, which is great. So I'll deal with them maybe near the end. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is just get my demo ready. So just bear with me a little second because I have to swap some screens around. There we go. Yeah, so a quick rundown on the existing kind of admin interface and the way our software Wallboard application works is there's 2 main aspects. There's the admin interface, which I've got open at the moment on the kind of right-hand side here. Currently, I'm editing one of the display layouts. And then the other aspect of it is the actual display itself where it renders the data. But the whole point is all of it's the same, web-based admin, web-based technology. It's all real-time and it doesn't use any plugins. Okay, so on the left-hand side, I've got a very simple layout, nice small lab with just 1 agent logged in and no calls. Nothing doing at the moment. And on the right-hand side, I've got the admin interface. Now, quickly run down that. If we go to the top here, I've got a dashboard list which shows the connections that are here. I can go to display management and list that display. Oh, wait a minute. I think I need to go to the wrong system here. 2 seconds. I forgot we moved to another computer earlier today. I think that's the right one. There we go. That's better. So if I go to the top right here, that's the admin panel. It's taking me into that area of that display. If I work way back, I'll just take you through these tabs. So that display management, this is a list of the browser sessions effectively. This default displays whenever it sees that session connect. That's the display to push out, and you can change that from here as well. So you can see display 1, display 2, display 1, etc. So that's how it kind of whenever a TV screen or smart TV, etc., connects in, you don't need to have any intelligent device at the TV screen. It's all driven from the data holding the admin interface. Display management, so you can see you've got 2 different layouts here. I'll show you edit them in a second. Edit configuration, that's pointing to the UCCX system. upgrades, which I'll tell you about in a minute, and obviously put your license key in there. So if we go back to display management, and I'm just going to edit, what have we got left here? Display one, I think. Just let me double check that. Browse in again. Yes, that's display one, so we'll edit that one at the top there. And if I can take you down the page, so at the top you've got the name of the display, that matches on the kind of title there. You have a message that you can show, so you just click enable and it'll appear at the bottom of the page there. Theme, we were talking about earlier, so if I go down here and I scroll down to the bottom, you can see that's the new custom slots. I don't think I'll be any longer on this particular lab system, but pretty straightforward. Just load up the graphic in the relevant folder. The Q view, which is the tabular view in the top hand section here. The way we describe these is like regions. So effectively there's 2 regions I've got set up. You can do 1 region, you can do 10 regions. It just kind of evenly divides them on the display screen. You just click the button at the bottom there to add a new one, and you then choose which type of region. But there's 2 at the moment, which is Q view and agent view. Q view is the tabular information that shows you CSV data. So if I go in and click edit in here, and then in this drop-down list, you can see this is the new calls abandon rate. So I choose that and click add. We see it's adding it into the column here. What I'll do is I'll maybe just take some other columns out for now, click close. And with those edits in place, and I hit save, you can see that's made that change apply over there. If I work my way down, I've got the agent view. And the key thing here is I've now got the agents that are selectable. Now I've actually only got 1 agent logged in, so but I can, individually choose those with a nice simple selection, move people left and right, hit save. It won't make any difference because that other user's not in anyway, but you can see how that's nice, easy to manage. And just so you're aware, you have to click in here and enter the CSQ first. There's only 1 CSQ in our lab at the moment, so that's nice and simple. Then on the right hand side, I'll maybe make this a little bit wider. There we go, just opens a bit easier. On the right hand side, you've got the kind of agent panel here, and there's different configurable sections. So the one in the middle here, I've changed this from its default to show the reason codes, and I'll show you that active in a little second. So I click on the reason codes, it gives me a drop down, and that's all the different pieces of data that I could choose to appear in one of those slots. So if I go down, I can do offered, no answer rate, time and state, some of those new stats, but I'll just leave it as a reason code for now. But you can do that with all the different sections of the interface. Now, let's show you the reason code in action. So if I just leave the wallboard display open like so, and then if I bring up phone view, just because we can, because the phone isn't even in front of me for the agent to show you this. And what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to go off hook with that agent on the right there. So I press enter, and you can see it says off hook. I press escape to hang up, and we can see it's back to NA, so that there's no reason code basically. I'll log into the agent interface as well in a second. In fact, I think I can do that from here. I'll give it a try. Might forget the details, but I'll see if I can spot it. So it's 0.221. Yeah, 8445 desktop. I'm already logged in elsewhere, so this might complain, but we'll give it a quick try. Let's see if it'll log me in. Excellent. Just give it a little second to load up. Oh yeah, just so you know, because of the wallboard gadgets coming from a different source, you sometimes get issues relating to mixed content loading. So I've got some instructions on that, but let me just kind of log in again. There's a setting you can change in the browsers to disable that, but for now I'm just doing it manually. So there we are. So that's the agent interface with the WallboardFX embedded as a gadget. We can see call abandon rate's not doing very well at the moment. Nobody's answering the phone, but you can see that data coming through. Now to show you the reason code in action. So this is a little bit strange because the agent's looking at themselves, if you know what I mean. But you know the point of this is the fact you can embed it. So if I go to ready, and I can go to break, we can see it's gone red because I'm not ready, but it's now also embedding the reason code that I've configured here. We can then flip to meeting, we can go back to ready, etc. There's also a number of system codes which are quite handy. So if I kind of go back again just to show you the phone. So if I go OFIC, maybe I'll try and make that a little bit clearer. If I press line 1 on the keypad here. So if I did that correctly, is it this side or that side? There we go. So you can see the reason code's OFIC. And then I can hang up if that's the right button. I think it would be that one. There we are. And it's back to normal. So it just gives you a lot of richer state data from a supervisor's perspective to see absolutely instantly in real time what all the agents are up to and why they're in the state that they're in effectively. Oh, that sounds very good. So that's a kind of quick summary of the main features that we've added in there. So that's embedding the gadget. And with the embedded gadget, you could also restrict it as well if you need to. We've got options on that now. We've always got the reason codes to show you the status of the agent a lot better. Those extra statistics are available both from an agent and a CSQ perspective, and the ability to granularly select the agents. So the only thing that's really left from a demo point of view, and I'm going to go by the seat of my pants here just because I like a challenge, is let's see if I can upgrade. Now, I think I had this open already. Is it this side or that side? That side, wasn't it? There we are. Now, to upgrade the software, one of the things that we did is we embedded the concept of evergreen software. So if I go on the admin interface and go to the upgrades page, and I've already been on this earlier. Now we put in a slightly earlier build, this 148 build, but we have already published version 2. We did it a couple of hours ago, so you can download it now, or if you've got a Wallboard installation, you can upgrade right now. And it's very simple. You just hit the refresh button, it'll go away, check, and for that new version that's now been published, it will download it, keep a copy of the new version on your system for when you're ready to then install it. And then you click upgrade now, which I'm going to do in a second, and it will kick off the upgrade. The new version also embeds the release notes, so that's kind of the same things I was talking about in the slide there with the new features that have been added within that last 2.0 release. But what you can also do, if you're in the mood, is you can also click automatic upgrades, and what that will do at the time specified is it will basically automatically check for a new version of software, and if there is a new version, automatically install it for you. So that means that, you know, if you don't want to do an upgrade during the day when people are working, etc., you can basically schedule it for an upgrade later on that evening. So just enable it to upgrade itself, tell it when you want it to do it. Quarter to midnight is quite a good time, obviously, for most people, and save that change, and then the system will automatically upgrade itself. But what I'm going to try, right, fingers crossed, I think the general term is praying to the demo gods, so we'll do a bit of that, is the system I got right now, which is one of our demo systems, as I say, is a slightly older version, so it's ready, it's primed for an upgrade. And on the left-hand side, I have an actual wallboard display running active data, as I showed you a second ago, going on hook, off hook, etc. I've not got calls getting generated at it right now, but you know, trust me, those numbers just would tick over if I did. And And if I just hit upgrade now, what it's going to do is take the MSI file that's downloaded in the background, install a new version. As part of that, it's going to stop the Windows service, put the new version in, start the Windows service afterwards. And from a display perspective, all it should do, fingers crossed, is pause for about 30 seconds or so and then automatically reconnect. Right, so fingers crossed, let's click the big green button and see what happens. So we click upgrade now, and that should initiate the upgrade. Looks like it. So the display on the left-hand side is now disconnected. So that means that the Windows service is shut down. The new MSI file should be installing at the moment. Don't know exactly how long that's going to take, to be honest. Usually takes about 20-30 seconds. And then once that MSI file is finished, as if by magic, the system reconnects automatically and just carries on as normal. Okay. Now, I don't have calls going on here at the moment, so I didn't get around to setting that up. But just to kind of show you, if I go back to the agent display, I go off hook, back again, off hook. So almost all it did was miss about 30 seconds worth of display time and completely seamless upgraded. It's fair to say that we put quite a lot of effort into getting that procedure working as seamlessly as that to cause absolutely minimal impact, to your operation of your contact center. And as you can see in the software upgrade page, it's now got the current version matches the latest version. I hit refresh, and obviously that's it. That's the latest release that we've published already. So that's it from a demo point of view. That went as well as it could do, thankfully. Let me just jump back to my PowerPoint slides. This is always a challenge for me because of the way this computer displays. Let me just stop sharing again and bring up slides and share that. Okay. So key thing is, are there any questions? I did notice one or two, so let me just bring up the panel. Oh yeah, I've just almost forgot there. I do have another demo I'm going to do. I better not forget this. It's got a slide in here to remind me. Let me just have a look. So as always with a lot of people, there might be some audio connectivity issues and things like that. So we can give you the recording of the webinar as well. So don't worry if you have any kind of problems that way. So it's saying here, I've got agents to see other agents in their team, but only see the value of the reason code, not the text description. They want to allow agents to see other reason codes, not just a number. So that's correct. It will see the actual label text, and the label text you define in that reason code XML file that I had in the slide earlier there, and there's a support article on exactly how to do that. In fact, looks like Rajesh has answered that and actually given the link for how to do it. Perfect. Well, that's good. I think that's the only real question. Let me just double check the chat window in case any come in that way. That was that statistic question. Okay, so someone's asking for the average speed of answer and service level, 80-30% display volumetric. Not at the moment, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to capture that request and I'm going to put it on our tracking system. And if we've got your name against that, which I think we do, we'll record that as well. We'll get back to you with some feedback on how and when we're planning to do that particular enhancement. I think that was all. Yep, perfect. So final thing I'm going to take you through is a new thing that we've put together, and we'll see if anybody likes this. Now, for anybody who, hopefully most people are probably aware of our phone view product. It's been around for a while and it's quite popular. But for anybody who's not, it's a very, very powerful way to manage your entire phone estate. One of the key mechanisms as part of it is the ability to remotely control phones. Okay. Now, the point of that is it means that you can effectively take all of the your phone estate and then work with it remotely, eliminating quite literally the need to send anybody to site for almost any situation. And we've got really big customers, 50 plus thousand phones, etc., who have saved huge amounts of money because they've not had to send engineers out when things haven't gone quite as they should have. Now, but having said that, one of the things that's a little bit short on our side is a more simpler way to remotely control a phone. It's been one of those kind of feature gaps that's been there for a while, and we've actually been working on it in the background, but we never really pushed it forward too much until recently. And it's getting ready for prime time. So we call it PhoneFX, and a quick rundown is it's a new product effectively that we've built onto our existing AutomationFX platform. If you're not aware, AutomationFX is the platform that drives our MigrationFX software, and it's the platform that absolutely everything we're doing in the future will be built on. Okay, so eventually we will, for example, port PhoneView over to AutomationFX. We'll even port Wallboard onto AutomationFX as well. Well, that's maybe a little bit more, a little bit later before we manage that one. But what that allows you to do is give you really simple single phone remote control. You can see a screenshot here, but I've got a demo I can show to you as well, I hope. Let me just test it actually now that I mention that. And the thing about it is it's 100% web-based. So that means that you don't need plugins again. That's a theme you might have noticed. We really don't like people having to have any dependencies. And I think it's quite interesting about that, and we have a little play with it ourselves too, is you can actually bring this up on your mobile phone or your iPad, tablet, that kind of thing. So it kind of breaks the boundaries of managing phones in a quite a different way, which is a bit of fun as well. But the important thing is, it's not really difficult to write a remote control tool. Certainly not a single phone one. Doing the scalability and working with 50,000 phones is rather hard. But when it comes just to working with one phone at a time, there's lots of tools and people have written their own things and things out there. So this isn't anything too groundbreaking. However, we're using the exact same scalability in code underneath that PhoneView uses. So it has all that capability and performance and tested implementation. And one of the things about that is it uses CPI to control the phone. So therefore, it's as fast as the phone will allow. The other thing about it is, which is quite unique and quite hard work to get in place, but it just makes it dead easy to use as well, is it supports multi-cluster deployments, same way that PhoneView does, but one of PhoneView's restrictions, it could only ever use CTI with one version of Call Manager at a time, and you'd have to close PhoneView and open it again if you're going between mixed versions of CUCM, which is not a big deal, to be honest. But we thought, let's eliminate that issue as well. So the updated CTI implementation that we put together that PhoneFX uses also works with mixed versions of CUCM completely seamlessly. And all that really means is you can have as many clusters as you wish, all configured up with as many phones as you need, and you can go and control and interact with any one of them without any constraints about whereabout in your environment that is. So it's kind of like giving your first and second level support teams the ability to work with any endpoint without any restrictions or considerations about the architecture side of it. One of the things it doesn't have at the moment, but it's very much on a high up our list, is the concept of policies. This is why it's really classed as an early field trial right now. So any of those agents, engineers, first level, second level support people can access any phone in the environment. However, once we add the policy feature in that we've been working on, that will also be able to restrict so that a particular, admin person could be limited to a particular group of phones on a particular device pool basis, site basis, that kind of thing. So I'll show it to you in a little second, but just be aware that's the email address to contact us on if you want to give it a try. sales@unifiedfx.com. Okay, so let's see if I can bring it over to show you in action. That one there. Okay. That's it there. So it's actually really simple because it's just a web page. But what we have here is a phone that's in our lab, controlling it. And all I need to do is press some digits on the keypad here. You can see those digits being sent. got all the softy options, obviously cancel, rocker up, down, all the buttons are there, etc. And what we've done is we've built a whole bunch of kind of skins and templates, etc., and all the different button positions. Some of them need to be updated a little bit neater, but we've basically been modeling out all the different various phone models, so it's as intuitive as possible. So we're not going down the path of making it look identical to a phone, like physically identical, like having a handset cradle, which with a dummy phone on it, which is kind of waste of screen space, to be absolutely honest. So we've kept it as neat and efficient as we can by fitting into a rectangle shape, which obviously browsers only provide, and making sure that position and groupings of those buttons are as familiar as possible. So that quite literally is all it takes to work with a phone. To actually access that from an administration point of view, let me just show you. I don't know if I got this open already, but I'll just fire up a fresh tab. Okay, nearly there, 81, 81. Should be here. See if I can kind of fit both of these at the same time. That guy there, that guy there. So for anybody who's used MigrationFX, you should recognize that screen on the left-hand side, because basically it's the same, exact same interface, the same platform, same product, really. And one of the things that we added to MigrationFX a little while ago, and it's been really popular, is this phones page. And part of that, if I go down the way, is it has this filtering mechanism. And this is the exact same filtering technique that PhoneView has, but it's browser orientated, obviously. It took quite a lot of extra work to figure out how best to do that. But it's very straightforward. So in this case, I've just got registered devices. That's ticked. There's only 3 in this particular lab. And then all I do is have a particular phone here, click the checkbox, click control, and then it spawns that window on the right. And the way that we've designed it is the URL of that page, which isn't showing on this hidden address bar at the moment, is effectively a static URL that will always work for that particular phone. So if you've got a lab and you've got 5 or 6 devices in it, you can basically open up each one of those, save them as a bookmark, and then just come back to them and open them up later. So we're now giving people the ability to work all together nice and easily in terms of phone view and like a kind of consolidated view perspective. But for anybody who finds it a little bit too complicated to use, then instead they can just go phone by phone, but keep it as intuitive as possible, keep the styling and the layout as familiar as you can. Okay, so that's enough about that. Let me just jump back to the slides. So again, if you want to try that out, sales@unifiedfx.com. So conclusion, effectively, just keep an eye out for future events. I think we'll get a phone view one coming up. I always forget, to be honest. But if you go to events.unifiedfx.com, the next ones will be listed there. And we always try to make sure there's 1 or 2 listed in the future. It's a free upgrade to version 2 as long as you've got a valid key, because we're working on a subscription model. As long as you've got a key, you can always get new versions. You can just install on top of the new version if you've got the new MSI file. That's one way to do it. However, as I just demonstrated, you can just use the self-upgrade mechanism. So just on the upgrades page, click refresh, let it check and download the new version, shows you the release notes in here, and it gives you this upgrade now button. So you can do it yourself, or obviously use the automatic upgrade and let it upgrade itself overnight. And that's the link to download it. We have had some website issues today, so if you do have any problems, just email us and we'll make sure you can get a download, if you don't just download it directly within the product. I think that's all for today. So let me stop sharing. Just double check in case there's any additional questions that sneaked in at the end there. No, I think that's all. Let's see, extra chats. Wallboard's asking for a password. Forgot to pass this right. Okay, I think that someone asked about password reset. I'm not going to cover that at this stage, but I think, yep, you're already in dialogue with the support guy, so that's perfect. Okay, well, thanks for everybody's time. I'll stop there, and please look out for future webinar sessions, and hopefully speak to you again in the future. Take care.